And it's PLB with Basketball News back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Kevin Durant confirming he will not return for the NBA restarting. And if you've been following the NBA, you know that they're going to restart next month. And in this video, I'm going to explain why he may have um, said that he will not return when the season resumes. And I will talk about the Brooklyn Nets playoff chances as well, because I don't think there's a world where they get pushed out of the playoffs. So if you like this kind of content, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you will get notified whenever I upload. This was announced at 11 o'clock last night, and I don't think you guys would have watched it if I uploaded it at 11 last night. So yeah. So let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets' playoff chances. And I thought they were the team in the Eastern Conference before Kevin Durant yesterday said that his season is over, and he told the Undefeated on Friday. And he said, I don't plan on playing at all. We decided last summer when it first happened that I was just going to wait until the following season. I had no plans of playing at all this season because it's been rumored that he's going to return. And I really thought the Brooklyn Nets were the team to beat in the East if Kevin Durant returned. And I still think they are built for the playoffs, and I still think they do have a good team. And I think they do have some great bench depth, which I think is really going to help them in that Raptors series. I see them playing the Raptors, obviously. If, well, no, with a 16 teams, just the 16 best records, then who knows who they will play. But I thought in a Nets Raptors potential series that Kevin Durant was the one that put them over the top to win that series. And I understand why Kevin Durant is not returning. It makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you don't want to really come back to the playoffs. But I think if he was going to come back, this was the best chance just because everyone else is going to be rusty. And I thought the Nets really had a good chance. I think Kevin Durant was really the player to put them over the top. I still think they do have good players, whether it's their bench and starting. Obviously, Kyrie Irving's going to be fully healthy, which could help them a lot. But, they played better without Kyrie Irving in the regular season, which I don't think Kyrie Irving is the greatest fit with this Brooklyn Nets team. Now, if you're a Brooklyn Nets fan, you might think otherwise, but I don't think he is worth his contract for them to play better without him on the floor. And Kevin Durant probably would not have been nearly as good as he was in his best seasons with the Warriors. I totally understand that. Maybe that's another reason why he didn't want to come back. And obviously, he didn't want to risk getting the virus as well, because there's no reason why you're going to come back trying to risk an injury, risk getting the virus, and come back. And it makes a lot of sense why he did not come back, but I also would have liked to see him come back just to see what he had left and if he's going to be not as good as he was in his close to MVP seasons with the Warriors. And is he still going to be as good being the number one on a team where you could argue that he was not number one on the team with the Warriors, and that Steph Curry was the number one and Kevin Durant was like the number two? So now he's pretty much going, he still has another superstar beside him, but this is pretty much going to be his team. And he's going to be the best player on this team. I think if he's still not as good as he was, I still think he is the best player on that Brooklyn Nets team. And I think you could see a possible Kyrie Irving trade coming. But I think they've got to get the right pieces back for them to trade Kyrie Irving. And they're going to look at the regular season and they're going to be like, we played better without Kyrie Irving and Spencer Dinwiddie at point guard. And I think Spencer Dinwiddie's a fantastic point guard. And he's going to be coming off the bench in this series, which I think could really hurt the Raptors. And you never know with the Raptors if they are going to have Fred VanVleet coming off the bench or not, which is another thing that I think could impact this series, because both teams would have one really good point guard off the bench. And I think if you're the Raptors and you're thinking logically, you might want to put Fred VanVleet coming off the bench. He's been more of a shooting guard role for most of the season. And I think Kevin Durant is doing this also just for further on in his career. He still has a few more years to play, and I think he finishes his career with the Brooklyn Nets, and he's doing it for the future of his career as well. Because if he injures himself again, he definitely won't be as good as he was, and he still possibly can be as good as he was. And there's a lot of clips that say Kevin Durant is shooting well, and I understand why he's not coming back, but I also would like to see him come back. And And here's another thing that I'm reading this article off of. I will link to the article in the description below, by the way. And someone asked him if he has an urge to play, and Durant replied, "It's just best for me to wait. I don't think I'm ready to play that type of intensity right now in the next month," which I totally agree with. And that's very smart on Durant's part, and he's right. It is best for him to wait and not risk getting an injury, not risk getting the virus. And it gives me more time to get ready for next season and the rest of my career, is what he says, and I agree with that as well, because he does need time to get ready for next season, and I think he probably needs to spend the summer just getting ready for next season and being the best player possible for next season. And then, meanwhile, Kyrie Irving said he may travel to Florida to support his teammates. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Irving has no plans to return this season. And that really screws up the Brooklyn Nets' playoff hopes, in my opinion. I did not see that Kyrie Irving was not going to be playing either. And I think he, just like Durant, is doing it for later on in his career, and I I just don't know how the Brooklyn Nets are going to be in the playoffs after Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. I think if they don't have both of those, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be in the playoffs. Obviously, with just Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, and Jared Allen being your big three, that's going to be interesting. Now, do I think they're going to be in the NBA I don't think they're going to go probably past the first round unless they find a really weak team in the first round, which I don't really think is going to happen unless they get lucky and get a Magic or a Grizzlies, who I don't think is going to be competitive. I think the Pelicans are the biggest threat to the Lakers or any team and I think the Pelicans could be a one of the teams that could really surprise some people. And that's just because they have Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and a lot of people forget Zion Williamson has not played a lot in his NBA career. And this makes a lot of sense for Kyrie Irving as well. And he underwent season-ending surgery on March 3rd. Kyrie Irving did, and I think it's smart for both of them not to play. And yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. I am not really sure about the Nets' playoff hopes right now. They're probably going to make it just because they are kind of in a weaker Eastern Conference than a Western Conference, and I think they still have a good team without Kyrie Irving, without Kevin Durant. But I think they do need a superstar. But if you do want to see my 2020 NBA playoff predictions, make sure to leave a like. Let's try to get this video to 5 likes, and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you get notified whenever I upload it. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more videos soon.